We was robbed, I think, says Russia. Anyway, look, we're joined now by Alpesh Patel, CEO of Prifinian Partners. Good to see you again. Thanks for coming in. Do you want to kick off with Gaga?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think there's a serious
element.
How we all
feel at this time of the morning? Yeah, exactly.
I think there's actually a serious element to this, not just, as you were saying earlier, it might actually just be Elton John actually in drag, but the serious element is, you know, when you look at what the trade ambassadors do around the world for UK trade, one of the things they always point to is our British artists. And this is, you know, carrying on the spirit of the Beatles and so on, saying what a creative country the UK is, not least in terms of music exports. So the fact that she makes the front page of the newspaper, the fact that we're talking about her and this gets broadcast around the world, not only helps British exports, but actually helps brand Britannia, as it were.
But she's not British. She's not British, though, is she?
It's the Brit Awards, and she is, and her music publishers will almost certainly be a British company.
But this is also because she considers herself not just a singer, but an artist almost, and you know, in her fashion, which I think is fantastic. We need something like this, you know, nowadays. But to combine the art with the music, almost, isn't it? I mean.
It helps in sales, it helps in marketing, it helps make sure you get the front page of The Guardian. It's right there, right next to a trivial story about Dubai killers.
Yeah, and yet, though, EMI has had all those problems, posted some pretty awful results, didn't it? And people are now doing downloads rather than buying albums. But they do say, though, that Brits will lead to a big bounce in album sales. So this is one good news.
Absolutely.
Let's move on and talk about Tutankhamun. Now we know that this is the headline. Now we know who the mummy's mummy was, but this also. This DNA testing and the results put to end, I guess, all these other theories about how the young lad died.
You're absolutely right. We've got, and I'm not sure we even know why we have this fascination with this particular mummy as opposed to any of the others that Howard Carter and those who came after him discovered. What's particularly significant about this is, we're talking about 3,000 years, roughly, since he died. Malaria is still a major killer in that region. When you look at the Gates Foundation, one of the largest...
seeking to eradicate it now.
Absolutely. We're still working to get rid of this problem which has been around for millennia, literally. But you're absolutely right. In terms of a general interest piece, at least we've got a better idea of why he died in terms of all the theories. What's most fascinating, actually, what they should probably spend more scientific research on, is why we're fascinated with this particular mummy.
Yeah. Well, it's because I think you're probably not old enough, but I remember queuing as a child to go and see the death mask at the British Museum.
You do know he was uncovered in 1922. I don't know what kind of admission you're making.
You look good. You should keep swimming, Timothy.
I haven't had malaria yet. Right, let's move on to the next one. Yeah, now the pensions crisis. The FT's got this here. Just looking at the way this wealth is spread over the generations. This is a time bomb, isn't it?
Well, let me give you one particular statistic. The baby boomers own half the wealth, half the national wealth of the United Kingdom. So half the £7 trillion of national assets are owned by the baby boomers. The issue then becomes, are they selfish, or are they going to actually pass this on somehow? And what's government policy going to be, both Labour Party and Tory policy going to be? Because it's David Willetts, the Tory frontbencher, who's released a book in which he's disclosed some of these findings. So it will be a big issue during the general election. So it has quite a big degree of significance.
And for youngsters now, I mean, they're looking at a future perhaps never being able to get onto the property ladder.
Well, that's one thing. The thing is, for those of us, such as myself, born after 1970, believe it or not, how do we ever compete with that? But more importantly, what's going to be the transition mechanism where we do get wealth from our wealthier parents? Is it going to be taxed away?
And just very briefly, let's just touch on the Shell cutting its executive pay. I mean, this is, I guess, really listening to shareholders after what we saw last year.
I think it's a bit of a red herring. You know, they're a company that makes profits. If they want to give huge bonuses, so be it. This is not part of the credit crunch sort of banking cycle. It's that some shareholders are basically saving, what, $1 million out of a company that makes profits in the billions. I think it's a red herring of a story. And they'll probably end up being very wealthy.
OK. Thanks, all right. Alpesh Patel, thank you very much for looking through some of the first editions of the papers from here and around the world. That's it so far from Aaron and me.
OK, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.